Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Friday the 23rd of May. This video is an educational video only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever. We'll start with the semiconductor or SOXX ETF representing the index, lower yesterday about 1% and very close to test 205.75 support, and could, if it closes below, well, it could try to close this gap down to around 195. Will it do that or not? That would be questionable, but if it does, well, then there are lower levels. However, I do think we could bounce off a little bit and then try to resume uptrend, but we do have a top and reversal like pattern in place here with this doji here. The RSI, well, there's maybe a slight divergence. No, I don't think there's any divergence. There's no divergence there, actually. So we could see higher levels. Not that we'll see it, but let's keep an eye out for if it bounces off support. The S&P 5 index unchanged yesterday, still support here at 5,783 and 5,695 here. Pre-market a little bit lower, could test it here. It's the US 500. Could test 5,786, maybe a little bit lower. We have the 100 and the 200 moving averages coming up there, adding some to the support. The Nasdaq 100s unchanged yesterday, and not much to say really. We still have some support, key support here at 2,613, a little bit here at 2,818. If it closes below the 2,613, well, it could try to close this gap down to 2,292. But here we have the 100 moving average. We have the 200 coming up here, so that will be add to the support. And we can see here pre-market little bit negative, but not much. And I think we could see it down to at least 2,761 here. Maybe lower. If it starts taking out that also, then again 20,350. Down the Dow Jones Index below the support here at 41,899. Key will it close the gap down to 41,382. That will be key to watch. If it does, well, then we could have a different situation. But there's no divergence on the positive RSI, indicating we could see higher levels later. Here pre-market, not much to say really. In Asia, we have Seng dancing around this 786 retracement here at 23,673. So it is pausing a little bit. We have a bit of divergence here. We can see RSI values declining, market closed higher. So a little bit maybe of a trend exhaustion, could see a correction maybe down to around 23,000, but we are still in a bullish trend. So trust the trend for now, but do be aware that we could see a correction. The Nikkei, fairly positive day and could bounce here. The next few days, still positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating we could see it pushing higher. And if it starts crawling back above 38,000 and above the moving averages, here's the 200 and the 100, then maybe it could crawl up and test the previous peak and 39,000. European markets, EuroStoxx50 a bit down yesterday, but it recovered towards the end. I still believe that we will see a correction, possibly down to around 5,300, but we have some stronger support here in this region. We have the 100 moving average coming up and 55. Despite declining a little bit, it is starting to turn around. So I think maybe if we get a correction down here, then it will bounce a bit. Let's see here, pre-market. Not really much to say. Support at 5,313. So 5,313 or 5,300 could be tested, but there is some stronger support there. The DAX, yeah, a little bit lower yesterday, but not much to talk about. Still key that it stays above 23,338. Pre-market, not much to talk about really. So it's opening unchanged. There's still positive sentiment and no divergence on the RSI, indicating we could see higher levels, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a correction. On the FX market and euro dollar, well, still below resistance at 113.80. and that is key. There's also the 61.8 retracement. If it does close above it, then I think we'll see uptrend to resume, downtrend to be over, but it will resume the downtrend if it moves back below 110.65, especially closing below. If RSI closes back above 60 threshold, it will further confirm a bullish trend with a potential above 116. Cable here, sterling dollar as we speak is trying to another push above the resistance here at 134.45. If it stays above, and then we could see it towards 137 in this region here, possibly higher. And if we're looking at the weekly chart, there's not much stronger resistance until 137.5, and then we are suddenly up in this region here. That will not be an unlikely scenario, but it won't play out in a day or two. It will take a little bit longer. We have Euro Sterling resistance here at 84.65 that it didn't break, got rejected just below the 55 moving average. Could take out the low here at 83.85, and it is not unlikely it will do that because we are in negative sentiment, and if it does, well, then we're looking at 83 level, 83.15 to drop to. Dollar yen, well, still in downtrend, and I still believe we could see a test the lows here at 142 area. Some stronger support. It already has broken below the 786 retracement. Bounced a little bit, but it seems to continuing lower, and moving average is pointing lower. Key will RSI be bouncing off 40 threshold or close below. If it does close below, expect even lower levels on dollar yen. The euro yen, still this weird slightly uptrend. We do have higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, and here we don't really have much. It's testing the previous low, very close to at least there at 161.59. Still above this slightly rising trend line there. It's not the most significant one, but we have the 55 moving average that is giving some support, and we still have positive sentiment on the RSI. But if we close back below 161 here and RSI below 40 threshold, then I think we could easily see it down to 159. The Aussie yen, 38.2 retracement, just below 92, still holding on. If it takes it out, then I think we could see a sell-off down to around 90. It's about 60 support area here, and also we have the lower part of cloud. RSI is still in positive sentiment, and there was no divergence, so it actually does indicate it could push higher, but I don't see it happening actually. There is some, you have all the moving average declining and trying to drag it lower basically. So the underlying trend, it tells us the underlying trend is actually bearish despite this push up here. However, I do think we could see a little bit of a bounce before the next drop lower. Sterling yen, well, bounced off just above the 55 and 100 moving average and the 786 retracement here at 191.60. So still holding on. There's still also positive sentiment on the RSI. Also here indicating we could see higher levels, but it is a little bit of, I think it will range bound around the 192 here for quite some time. So I want to, there's no clear picture really on most of the yen crosses, to be fair. Aussie dollar, well, still in this triangle-like pattern here. Still in a bullish trend really, and positive sentiment indicating it should push higher, but the 200 moving average is dragging it lower or holding it back there. But we have the 100 and the 55 moving average coming up, so I think it will be boxed in here between 65 and 63.5 for quite some time, where it really needs to break out of. I think I will add a horizontal line here and say if it takes out the 65 and a bit there, 65.15, then I expect higher levels. We have dollar Canada still holding on above the 786 retracement here. RSI is still holding on above 40 threshold, but it was previously below, and we are in a negative sentiment, so I think we will see it lower. We can also see all the moving averages. They are catching up now, and they will quite likely push it lower and could push it down to around 137.50. Sterling Canada, well, it's really lacking momentum to continue higher. You can also see the 55 moving average is kind of fading here, but there's positive sentiment on the RSI, so we should see it higher, but do expect a little bit of a test maybe of this rising trend line there. Euro-Swiss, well, also still range bound, basically between 94.20 and 92.97, so just below 93 here. Breakout is crucial. I think it will be to downside. We can see it moving average all declining here now. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, so I think we'll have a go at the support down here. The dollar Swiss support at just around 82. That is key. If it takes out that, well, then I think we'll see it pushing lower towards 81 level, and possibly also lower. Could bounce a little bit, but all moving areas declining, so I think it's just a matter of time before it will push lower. Also negative sentiment on the RSI indicator, indicating lower levels, and especially if it closes below 40 threshold, that will most likely that will play out. The dollar index, let's just move this a little bit, bounced off the 61.8 retracement at 99.25. If it takes out the lows here from a few days ago to 99.20, then I think we'll see a test of 98.68 support and the 786 retracement, and quite likely also a break lower. Also, all moving averages declining. 100 is 1 or 2 days from breaking below the 200, and RSI, if it closes back below 40 threshold, which I believe it will, well, then we will see lower levels on the dollar index. Gold dancing around the 61.8 retracement here. If RSI moves back above 60 threshold, then expect a push up to 3,400 and possibly higher, up to 3,435. If it takes out that, then I think we'll see a new all-time high above the spike up there at 3,500, or at least being tested. So that's I think it's what's warming up for maybe at the moment. 55 moving average coming up here, giving some support. But if it could slide lower, so be aware. But for now, it seems to be to the bullish side, and especially if it takes out the peak from yesterday, then I think that will scenario will play out. Silver got rejected there yesterday at 33.70. If it takes it out, and I don't think we need a close above it, that will confirm it, of course. But if it takes it out, I think we'll see a fairly swift push up to around $35. Just very quickly on platinum. Platinum has continued pushing higher, and now towards the 1100 and maybe 1130 here. That are levels back from 2 years ago. So platinum really on the move at the moment. And finally on copper still in this range here between 481 and 449. Energy, crude oil WTI testing a minor support there at 60.47. It did dip just below it. If it takes out a second time, then I think we'll see lower levels down in the region around 55 here again, and especially if it's being supported by RSI closing below 40 threshold. Brent Crude oil also testing its minor support there at 63.44. If it takes it out, I think we could see a push down to 61.8 retracement, possibly lower to the 60 level, maybe even down to these levels here. Still negative sentiment on the RSI. However, there is divergence. We see this value here on RSI is higher than over here, but the closing prices here were lower than here. So it is indicating trend exhaustion. So maybe we'll just be in the trading in this range here between 60 and 67 for quite a while. The European gas fading again, got knocked down by the 55 moving average. RSI didn't close above 60 threshold, and could slide back in this range here between 36 and 34 again. The US nat gas Henry Hub also sliding lower, and we have the 55 that broke below the 100 was. the medium-term outlook to the downside, but we have the 200 coming up, so a little bit longer term to the upside. So I think we'll be boxed in here between 3.5 area and $3 for quite some time. Yields, US Treasury yields spiked higher towards 465. Didn't get all the way there just yet. I think it will eventually. Just need to find a little bit of ground here around 455. 55 moving average coming up, 200 also coming up, positive sentiment on the RSI, and it does look like that's the way we are headed. RSI on weekly still below 60 threshold, but we are building a higher low and higher high, so it seems like we are building an uptrend. If RSI close back above 60 threshold on the weekly, it will further confirm that. We won't be happy about it because it's not good for the yields. It's not. We're not too happy about it. Here the 2-year still below 403 minor resistance. We have the 100 moving averages come down. Kind of put a lid on here with the 200 and the 100 moving averages. Moving on to the European yields. Here we have EU 10-year still key resistance for 271. And we are not there yet, so I think we could be range bound in this area here around 260, 265 for a bit. But if it does close above 271, well, then we could see a swift push towards 283. The UK 10-year spiked above the resistance here at 480, 481, and dropped back. And I think it could slide a little bit lower here. But the trend is actually bullish, and 55 moving average coming up, adding to the fairly positive bullish scenario. And in crypto, well, we have yesterday a new all-time high in Bitcoin, 112,000, and now setting back a little bit. So yes, it actually did take out this resistance there. And there could be further upside in the coming days and weeks to Bitcoin, but do expect some setbacks here. But for as long as it stays above 100,000, then it is in a bullish trend. Ethereum testing resistance here at 2739, and it will be key to break above that. If it does, well, then we could see a push up to 3,000 and 3,000 and a bit. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend when you get to there. Talk to you again Monday.